So, at the risk of sounding like kind of schizophrenic, I've been having conversations about herbs and plants and mushrooms and things with somebody standing with a male voice standing in an impossible place out on the beeline. And then today I started thinking about the discussion turned to see, there was a guy who walked right past me, a guy, and said something like, those are medicinal, right? And I said, yeah, but probably tastes like hell, and I'm not entirely sure he was actually there. I do see dead people on occasion. I have had these experiences where I've had these conversations with people that were absolutely not there, and they look like they were absolutely there to me. And it's not like anything too weird, but it's, I want you to go tell my brother something. I'm like, why don't you tell him yourself? Could you do this for me? And that kind of thing. But anyway, and then that whole conversation gets really weird. So like I said, I've interacted with Yetis before, but today's conversation was that they don't live very long. Maybe for a year or two. H.P. Lovecraft talked about beings, ambulatory beings that were fungal life forms. And that in previous thoughts about Yetis, because they're not always verbal, not all of them project any kind of physical image. And some are recurring. The guy in the bomber jacket that's out on the Clear Creek Trail in that area by the quarry where the water is that people report seeing standing out there. There's a guy in a bomber jacket standing out there where it says no trespassing. And then when they describe it, it's impossible. It's impossible that there was anybody standing there. But year after year after year, people go by there and say there's a guy out there in a bomber jacket. And they'll take on, I suspect they project images based on clothing they found abandoned in the woods. Or something that they've seen people wearing. Maybe they've seen someone that was doing something they approved of, or had a conversation with someone about a topic that they want to discuss with people, and so they adopt this appearance when they project an appearance. They really are big red hairy monsters, but they don't like to let people see them as such in most cases. But whenever someone sees, I saw a Yeti over there, and then they go at the barbed wire fence and there's some red hair, and they take the red hair and they analyze it. It's moss. It's like a fungus material or something. It's because they're fungus. They're ambulatory fungus. Fungus are hermaphroditic, and in the psychology of, or in the theology of what is a Yeti, when God commanded the seeds of creation to split into male and female, these seeds didn't have the capacity, he had not endowed in them the capacity to hear that order. And so they didn't do this. They'll be the Whirline in Jana. They'll be they will be the emotional support and physical support of people who didn't show up there as entire families, because sometimes individuals will show up there. They'll be there without their husband or wife, without their fathers, and so forth. And they will primarily be there to make sure those people don't feel the loss. And but here they do other things, and many other things. I've had I had this one Yeti in Tennessee that was throwing like possums and snakes in my path, throwing meat at me, basically. I'm kidding. So I've got this one throwing mushrooms at me, and I think that's pretty cool. But he's said he's not going to be here much longer, and to talk to the next guy. And I'm not the only one who hears these guys out there. Anybody that goes out mushroom hunting, they know they're talking to something. This one wanted to know what else I'm talking to, because there's an angel that I talk to. One primary, it's several angels. But when my glasses were messed up and I was one eye short of three-dimensional vision, I was talking to Azrael quite a bit. And when I had a seizure yesterday or the day before, and my vision went blurry in my left eye, he was there for a moment. So that's not good. That angel is creating Jahannam more. So the power of that angel is intense. So it's to be avoided to do anything that would cut off my vision, because I stay lucid and bad shit happens.